You are listening to Larry Conners, USA.
You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth.
This is Larry Conners USA. Larry Conners USA.
I woke up this morning, got myself a gun. Mama always said I'd be the chosen one.
You've said over and over again that immigrants shouldn't come to this country right now. This isn't the time to come. That message is not being received. Instead, the perception of you that got you elected as a moral, decent man is the reason why a lot of immigrants are coming to this country and entrusting you with unaccompanied minors. How do you resolve that tension? And how are you choosing which families can stay and which can go, given the fact that even though with Title 42, there are some families that are staying? And is there a timeline for when we won't be seeing these overcrowded facilities run by CPB when it comes to unaccompanied minors?
Well, look, I guess I should be flattered. People are coming because I'm the nice guy. That's the reason why it's happening. That I'm a decent man, or however it's phrased. That's why they're coming, because Biden's a good guy.
Well, there you have it. President Biden today in his first news conference. First he's held in 65 days. You heard a question, and we wanted to give you a flavor of the questions he's getting. And it began by, since you're a decent human being, I mean, come on. Did they ever try that with Trump at all? Oh, well, they were not going to do that. But they're already flattering him with a question. The question was legitimate, but to start it off like, I love and adore you. What do you think about this? That's not a news conference. And on top of that, the way it appears to be going down, he's not calling on reporters, raising their hand, me, pick me. He's going by a list in front of him. They had to put their name on a list, and they're just going down the list. Now, what do you bet? What do you bet that behind the scenes they decided, well, put your name higher on the list depending on what you're going to ask and how you're going to ask, and you have to stick with the question. You think I'm too cynical? You think I'm not being fair enough to say that this is a legitimate news conference? Well, just contrast this, the style, the approach, the favoritism, the adoration compared to what we saw when Trump was president. That should tell you everything. Somewhere in between, you should have a legitimate news conference. Take Trump to task. I had no problem with taking to task. I have done that with previous presidents. Obama, the last one. and that was the last one because of that, not in part. But I have no problem with asking tough questions, and you can be nice and civil about it. I'm not saying you have to be nasty. You don't have to be like Jim Acosta accosting, me. And that, Mr. President, you shouldn't do that. But when they start off with a fawning because you're such a nice guy, and of course he bought into it. He did later clarify and say that's really not why they're coming. They do this all the time. And he said, you can't say they came because when Trump was president, he was a nice guy. They come because the weather's better and nicer. It happens every year, he said, every year at this time. Lie, direct lie, and no one challenged him on it. The numbers are superior to anything we've had. And yet later, someone else did point out that a mother said she sent her child because she figured he could get in. By the way this is going down, Washington Post reporters had a message ahead of Biden's first solo news conference. The media columnist and opinion writer were said basically, this is Biden's first news conference. It's a test for him, bigger test for White House reporters, according to a headline that was written. But they were being advised to downplay anything that looks like it's drama. In other words, don't be drama prone. Don't pick out drama type bites. I wonder if that also applies to the reporter making themselves look really special. Their drama. We're going to get in that over the next 2 hours, some of this conference going down. And, of course, his decision yesterday to basically put VP Harris in charge of immigration, that takes a lot off of his plate, saying when you get down to real details, talk to her. Not a good idea to put her in. And, by the way, there's a new warning from Gallup. There are roughly 42 million south of Texas who want to come into the U.S. 42 million. And right now we're going to do everything we can, I guess, to bring them in. And we're also going to get into kids in school, and some schools are being taught transgender, and the parents don't know it. And gun control, of course, back in play. And Don Lemon Fruitcake has his say. And a former CNN producer notifies CNN, you got to get Lemon off the air. He cannot continue to do this. It's wrong. You'll find out why. And, of course, some of the coziness that exists between those in power, like the Democrats, and the rest of us. You. Lock and load. Ready on the right.
You can hear podcasts of this program at Larry Connors USA Facebook. Larry Connors USA Facebook.